Hello, and welcome back to our SIGNL4 onboarding series. Today we're going to go over the ability inside of SIGNL4 to use what we call overrides to allow alerts to be alerted or suppressed during certain days or times of the day, or even during the week, for you to make sure that alerts are only going out when needed. So for some more details here, you'll see I have loaded up my SIGNL4 web portal on the left and the mobile app on the right. And we're going to do most of this work here in the web portal. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and go to one of my teams, and I'm going to go ahead and use the IT Ops team here. And then I want to go to the signaling menu option. And on this page down here at the bottom, we have what we call overrides. Now, if I go ahead and click on the plus sign here under overrides, it's going to allow me to create a new one, which at this point I'm going to call after hours. And we're going to set this to work for after hours during our business week. So I don't want this to work 24/7. So when I uncheck the 24/7 box, we'll actually see a start and end time, allowing you to select the dates to start and end. So what I want to do here is I want to go from Monday, since this is after hours, I'm going to choose 6 p.m. to Tuesday, 9 a.m. And this means that this override is only going to apply during these hours. So from Monday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., this will not apply, but it does apply from Monday 6 p.m. to Tuesday 9 a.m. Now, one of the nice things here is once I set this first line, if I go ahead and click on the plus sign, we'll see that it automatically continues this pattern. So we'll see I have Tuesday at 6 p.m. to Wednesday at 9 a.m., and then again for Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday, and then finally, my last one here does go Friday to Saturday. However, we don't work on Saturdays, so I want to change this to Monday to cover the entire weekend with just one entry. So now that I've set the date and times, now we got to select what we want to apply this override to. As a default, it's going to apply to everything for this team. However, what I intend to do here is I want to make it so that I do get alerted on high priority alerts, but low priority things such as somebody locking themselves out of Outlook, that can wait until the morning or the Monday morning. So in order to select this, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and select only applies for these categories. And in my case here, because I'm going to be suppressing signals, I want to select the categories that I am suppressing and leave the categories that I want to be alerted unselected. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and select the default. And I'm going to leave emergency open because if it's an emergency, I do want my users to be alerted. And the other one I'm going to not select is my priority 1 because these are the highest priority tickets that I have outside of an emergency. But emergencies are more for emergencies such as a fire or severe inclement weather like a hurricane or tornado, something along those lines. So I'm going to leave those two unselected and I'm going to select all of my other options in here. And now that I have all my other categories selected and I have selected my suppress signal, which you saw, and you'll notice that when I do select suppress signal, I do lose these other options. That's because these other options have to do with setting how you want to be signaled. And this option says I don't want to be signaled. So it kind of cancels those out. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and select my suppress signals, and then I'm going to click on the save button. Now, if I go ahead and send in new alerts, we'll actually see these get suppressed or alerted depending on this category. Now, one thing I do want to note here is I'm not after hours currently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my Wednesday time from being 9 a.m. to actually being 11 a.m. because it's about 10:45 here. So this gives me time to receive the alerts while this is technically after hours. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now we're going to go ahead and send an alert in and we'll actually see this in action. So the first one I'm going to send in is going to be one of my suppressed categories. So if I'll send this in, and we'll see that I don't receive an alert on the right-hand side on the phone. If I go over here, my integrations, and we'll see the events came in, and we'll see this new event just came in, 10:45, 10:43. We'll see that it comes to, and it goes to the database category, and it goes to my IT Ops team. And because of my override, this event is suppressed and it doesn't even create an alert at all, so I don't get alerted. So now I'm going to go ahead and send another one in. And this is one of the categories that's allowed. In this case, I'm going to use my priority 1 category. I'm going to go ahead and send this in, and we'll actually see this alert come in on the right, and we'll see the event come here on the left. We'll actually see, I already see the new alert on the phone. And if I scroll down, we'll actually see it. And we'll see that it went to the IT apps team, and we can see via the icon and the coloring that it went to my priority 1 category. And I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge this just so it doesn't continue. We also see the new event came in. We'll see that it went to the IT apps team, went into the priority 1 category, was signaled. And if I go back to my actual alerts, we'll actually see the alert inside the web portal as well. And we'll see here that it went to my user. He did acknowledge it. Went to the IT apps team, priority 1 category, the information inside the alert itself. We'll see here that it was alerted to just my 1 user because this user's off duty and this one doesn't have a notification profile set. So now that I have my after hours alerting set up, let's say I want another one set up here. I'm going to call this one my daytime alerting. And we're going to, again, not do 24/7, but we are going to do Mondays 9 to 6 because I did 6 o'clock for the after hours. And we'll see here that as I add my new entries that the pattern is kept from 9 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And what I want to do here is I actually want to, again, only do certain categories, but this time I'm going to do the emergency and I'm going to do the priority 1 alerting. We're going to save those. Except for this time, I don't want to suppress. This time I want to change the actual alerting set options for these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to override the alert and response settings, which are the alert and response settings on this page at the top, where we have our response time, how many people need to confirm, and the override personal notification pattern. So I'm going to scroll down here and you'll see here that by default, it uses the options I already have set up here. So now I want to override this. I want to say that after 30 minutes on these 2 categories, I want the escalation to happen. I also want to make sure that everybody that is alerted has to confirm it. So I need to turn that option off instead of only having 1 person confirm. Now my final option here is for my notification pattern. And what I want here is I want, regardless of what the users have input, I want a voice call to happen immediately. And then I want my SMS to happen after 2 minutes. My push and email both to happen after 5 minutes, allowing me to be alerted by all 4, but I'm using this notification pattern and ignoring the pattern set by the users for just these 2 categories during the day. And now that that's said, I'm going to go ahead and go down here to the override escalation settings. And this is the same thing. This option is on the escalation, on the signaling page as well. We have our escalation settings. And what do we want to do when our response time is breached? And currently, I have this set to escalate to another team, the SecOps team, which is what we're going to show down here when I enable it because it's just going to be a copy of what we have up top. So instead of going to another team, I actually want to go to the manager after this 30 minutes instead of to the other team for just these 2 categories again. Now that I have all that set, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now I'm going to go ahead and send in a new priority 1 alert. So we'll actually see this come through here on the right. And you'll see that I'm already receiving a phone call for this alert. And right here, you can see that the 0 of 2 acknowledged doesn't show here because now I have to have multiple acknowledgements. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge this on my user. And we'll see that changes to 1 of 2. And if I go back to the signals, we'll actually see the same information here. Acknowledged 1 of 2. Robert acknowledged. Went to the IT ops, priority 1. And the reason is this user does have an email, so it is going to automatically try to email them, but it just waits for the 5 minutes before that email goes out. And this is how we can use SIGNL4 overrides to help ensure that we are alerted the way we want to be during the times and for the categories that we want to be alerted on. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye.